Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Stanford High's monthly news broadcast here on WGCH. I'm Sydney Rubin, here from Stanford High's online news site, The Roundtable, which you can view online at shsroundtable.com. You could catch us here on the second Thursday of every month, giving you a little window into the halls of Stanford High School. The first thing we have today is an update on the Strawberry Hill Players, Stanford High's drama club. This past weekend, on November 2nd and 3rd, the Strawberry Hill Players opened for their fall production, Noises Off. Noises Off is a farcical comedy that follows an unprepared British theater company attempting to put on their show, Nothing On. The two shows were a huge success, and the Strawberry Hill Players encourage all to join them for their final two shows, which will be on November 9th and 10th at 8 o'clock at Stanford High School. We are here with Sydney Rubin to tell us more about what he thought of Noises Off.
Normally I don't really like drama. I've never been that into it, but this time I went to Picnic last time, but I really only went because there were friends there and it was okay. But this play was awesome. It was funny. The first act was setting up everything, and then the second act and the third act, they really brought it all together, and I was just laughing the entire time. And I can truly say that I just enjoyed it, and I think that everyone else should go and see it.
Darren, we hope to see more people supporting the arts this upcoming Friday and Saturday. Next, for an especially interesting segment, we have Matt Tolo, opinions editor of The Roundtable, interviewing Barack Obama's former speechwriter, David Litt. Let's hear what he has to say.
So what was it like writing speeches for President Obama?
So a lot of speechwriters never get the chance to write for someone who is an amazing writer themselves. I absolutely got the chance. So President Obama wrote a really, really fantastic book before he was ever a politician. He thinks like a writer. And that's just one of the many reasons why I had one of the best speechwriting jobs that anyone has ever had in American history. Just to illustrate that, if he ever made handwritten edits to a speech or wrote something himself, that would always be the part of the speech where family and friends would say, like, hey, did you write that? And I would be like, well, I worked on the speech, kind of dodge the question a little bit.
So did you ever directly work with him on speech drafts?
Yeah, of course. So, President Obama spoke, I think on average, more than once per day as president, which is a lot. So it's not like he was sitting down working on every single draft from scratch. But sometimes for big speeches, he would get involved very early on at the beginning. And I wrote a lot of the jokes. And for jokes, we would often go through them, 3 or 4 times in the Oval Office to make sure we got them exactly right. Because if you get a joke just a little bit off, suddenly it goes from funny to not at all funny.
Right. So what would be an example of like the type of contribution you could make to a speech?
So a lot of what I thought of my job as was trying to write a speech that was, let's say, almost as good as the speech President Obama would have written if he had had time to write it, which he didn't because he was busy being president. So, so that could be in a serious speech. And, for example, helping to talk about a new policy initiative we were rolling out, trying to say something in a memorable way so that people who do not spend all their time in Washington thinking about policy issues understand what we're trying to do. Or it could be, bringing Luther, Obama's anger translator, the character from Comedy Central show,
right,
in to perform with President Obama live at the White House Correspondents' Center and, having a little bit of fun with that.
So, how did you feel knowing that the entire world heard some of your work on a regular basis?
It was really strange because you can't think about that too much or your head will kind of explode. But on the other hand, it was also amazing. I think I got very spoiled because at like 25 or 26, I got used to seeing words that I wrote in like the news, the newspaper, like in the New York Times, pretty often. And obviously they weren't because I wrote them, they're because President Obama said them. But it was still, now that doesn't happen to me. And I'm like, oh, why is that? Oh yeah, it's because I'm not writing for President Obama, so it's a little different. But it was, it gives you a sense of how much those words, a president's words, can matter. Because I will also say a couple of times when I screwed up in my job, the consequences were really high. And that's not because I was super important. It's just because anybody working at the White House has a job that, if you make a mistake, it can make a big difference.
So what was your most memorable speech that you've written for the administration?
I mean, I think I got to write a lot of speeches that I will remember in different ways. One of the speeches I'm most proud of that was serious was writing a speech that President Obama gave at the NAACP convention in 2015 about criminal justice reform. And that was just a speech where that was the first time we had really tied all the different threads of criminal justice reform together in a single speech. And it felt like the right place and the right time, and it really came together, and I felt like I had been able to contribute something. And then on the joke side, I mentioned this before, but working with Keegan-Michael Key, who's one of my favorite comedians, and having Luther, Obama's anger translator, come on stage with Obama and surprise 2,000 people at the White House Correspondents' Center, and then like 35 million people who watched that on Facebook the next day. That was really fun, and we worked a serious message about climate change into the jokes. And so that combination of being funny but also having a point was something that I think I was able to do at times, and I'm proud of.
Thanks, Matt. What a great segment. Next, we have Mr. Broadus from the band and Miss Inagulia from the orchestra and chorus, who are here to talk to us about what to look out for their programs in the upcoming year.
What is coming up for the Stanford High Music Department?
Well, I mean, we have many things coming up from now to the end of the year. Just to name a few, we have some holiday events coming up, some parades, the Veterans Day Parade, the Thanksgiving Day Parade, the Stanford High Marching Band usually goes to. We're going to be performing at the mall. We're starting up Winter Percussion and Jazz Band. And then we're, amongst other activities that we'll be doing, the big thing that we're doing this year is a big music department trip to Washington, D.C.
What have your ensembles done so far this year?
Well, this year we are starting to really learn to play and sing as a group. They're all new students, so that takes a lot of effort and energy to blend and teach the basics. Our Madrigal Singers did perform down at Veterans Park for a city event early in the year. We also did sing at the Convocation at the beginning of the year. And we are planning to do a number of things this season. We have the Tree of Life ceremony, which is a hospice-sponsored event for caregivers for hospice patients. We have our trip to New York City at the holiday time, performing at the MetLife building. That's the concert choir, the Madrigal Singers, and the orchestra. We'll be at the mall, again, with the band program that same night. That's December 13th. We have our holiday fair here at Stanford High. We're going to be doing our Christmas caroling when I believe it's Mr. White's going to be Santa Claus. So we do have a number of things coming up.
Roundtable on WGCH. Be sure to check us out online at shsroundtable.com, and you can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm Sydney Rubin on WGCH. Thanks for listening and have a lovely day.